This is Kendra,
And this is Brianna. Welcome to Camp Comparisons.
where she's in one camp and I'm in the other.
We are recording our first episode long distance today. So if my audio is not as high quality, that's because only one of us has the microphone.
Yep, me. I get the microphone.
So sorry if it's a little bit annoying, but we're doing our best.
Yeah, for sure. And we have to obviously get it out now. We can't wait
Yeah,
until I get back.
no. By the time we come back, the next episode will probably be out.
Right. And I have so much to say, so I wouldn't be able to wait anyways.
Yeah, me too. This episode was another kind of roller coaster, but less intense of a
Yes,
roller
I agree
coaster.
with you. Less intense. There was a couple things that I feel very strongly about, but I
Yeah.
think overall it was,
Better than I was expecting based on how the last episode ended.
yeah,
Like how they set things up, I was like,
what
what?
are we doing?
And
I'm
then it kind of
still
came
a
back.
little bit, what are we doing? But we'll see.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts. I have some ideas about it. It really does take watching it twice for me to get an understanding of why they changed some things or what they might be doing with it. It's, if I was, well, I know people that will watch it just once and just go off and off and off and off on what they don't like. And I think it does
Yeah,
help to watch it a second time.
I agree because then you can see the plot as it's coming and like understand the setup better.
Yeah, because there are things
Yeah.
that like the second time you're like, okay, I see why they did that now. Okay, so we should just get into it. I do want to start this episode with the book for a second. So part of the problem I had when I was doing this episode is that it doesn't follow the book. I mean, like from where it starts, well, not even where it ends. It doesn't follow the book enough to be like, okay, this is what happened in the book compared. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but there's definitely bits that you're like, I see where they got that from. I see where they got
Yes,
that from. I see where they got that from. I mean, Tyson comes back. The Rainbow Campi come to save them. There's definitely a
right.
lot, but yeah, I see what you mean. It doesn't follow in the same way.
Exactly. Yeah. So like for example, the book, it starts with chapter 14. We meet the sheep of doom. That automatically you can't use that. You couldn't use that title automatically because the sheep there are not man-eating sheep. Or
Which, to be fair, there's two types of sheep on Polyphemus's island. There are normal sheep and man-eating sheep. So,
this is true. And
it's
the
not
ones that
crazy.
they used to get in the cave were those ones for sure. But there's no sign of. So, okay, so in the book, the tree that has the golden fleece is out in this beautiful area,
Yeah.
which by the way, this whole island is a
Is
desert
n
with like, it's like more, it's like I would say semi-arid, which
yeah,
like is kind
a
of like
lot
how
of
when we lived
sand.
in New Mexico, it's like a lot of, yeah, but also a lot of, it's just the evergreen trees, like
Yeah.
the trees
And
that
like
don't, yeah.
brush.
And
Like not even a
brush.
bush. Like a
No,
brush.
brush. Yeah. There's no real greenery in this island. So
No.
I don't, whatever. I mean, I feel like, is it hard to, I don't know. What do I know about making
I just
music
feel
show?
like you're supposed to, considering you can't hear a description of how powerful this thing feels like you
There's
can in a
no
book, you can at least
evidence.
visually show it.
Right. In this scene, like he apparently takes down the golden fleece, shoves it in the cave, and that tree looks the same. Where in the book, when you take the golden
Mm-hmm.
fleece off the tree, immediately the tree has lost its vibrancy. So you're not
Weird.
getting the power of this golden fleece at all, other than putting
No.
on top of Annabeth and her breathing suddenly. Like it didn't even
Which
start.
is
I was
fine.
hoping the cuts would start to kind of fade and disappear. Again, I know that's a CGI, whatever, but that would, it doesn't, you don't get this from the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Um,
unfortunately.
yeah, unfortunately. But also, what I was going to say too is that it's on this tree and it's guarded. They say, oh, it's got some kind of guardian. Yeah, it's guarded by these carnivorous sheep. And they're like, those are some big sheep. And then this deer comes out and then they
Yeah.
just like converge on the deer and go away from the deer. And there's just bones. Okay, so they have, in the book, they have arrived in Queen Anne's Revenge. And then I guess that's the same, except for it's not Queen Anne's. It's not called that or not, whatever. But they arrive in a boat, right? They have to climb up a cliff, hand climb up a cliff. Because there's like this time where like Annabeth's foot slips and she steps
Yeah.
on Percy's face. And he's like, I didn't really want to know the taste of your sneaker. I mean, her sneaker.
Yeah,
But
it's
there
funny.
is one thing here. So they're looking down the cliff and they see the entrance to the cave. That actually is the setup is the same here. He does look when he's like later on when he's like watching the cave entrance, he is looking down to see the cave entrance because there's no top hole that you can
No,
rappel down into.
no.
But
That
they
would have
are
made it
looking.
so much easier. I don't know how they messed it up. Well, I guess because Polyphemus is smart.
Nah, I have other thoughts about how they messed it up. And then in this case, in the book, they see Clarice tied up, Grover in his wedding dress, and we get this whole stupid thing where Clarice outs Grover.
But yeah, Clarice is definitely not that dumb here. My God.
No, although she does egg him on kind of stupidly at one point in the TV
Yeah,
shows.
but it doesn't
So
really
that was
do
my
anything.
that was my comparison. I'm like, okay, cool. They have her at least being a little bit like egging him on, but it's not the same. It doesn't produce the same result of this, right?
Yeah.
He does, after finding out that Grover is not a lady Cyclops, get sent off on a mission to find mangoes. He's thrown them into the cave, shut the cave door with this humongous boulder, and goes off and oh no, he's called his sheep out of, they were all inside the cave. He's called them out, sheep and goats, and like says, come on sheepies, and he's like patting them, and one of their names is Lockhart.
I know.
And then, and other
Funny.
funny names like Heffenreffer or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I might have said that one wrong, but it was some
There's
kind of.
like Tammy, but it wasn't Tammy. There were like more letters in it. It was like
Yes.
Tammy or something weird.
Yeah. And then the one that Percy ends up like hooking onto is called Widget.
Yeah.
So the other thing in the book that could possibly, in a small way, correspond to the TV show is Annabeth and Percy trying to move the boulder, where in the TV show it's the other guys inside trying to move the boulder. Okay, fine. So that's like, these are like the only small things I can find that are similar, trying to move a boulder. Annabeth's the one that says, oh, okay, we should use trickery, and comes up with this plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So also there's this great line in the book where Percy's like, yeah, we should do this before he marries Clarice and has Grover for dinner. And then he's like, I'm not sure which one is grosser.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah. Anyway, so this is where they come up with the plan to cling on to the bottom of the sheep and Annabeth being invisible. And then waiting until they waiting until he almost rolls the stone close. And then Annabeth like starts talking to him and distracts him with the door open, right? Okay, that plan was beautiful. This plan in the TV show, okay, good. We'll get to it. Like the fact that she's not just invisible the whole goddamn time. She has to throw a thing and crawl on her hands and okay, good. So I'm going to stop there on the book, and then you can start going over the TV show, and then
I will just say about that though. She says they have to mask their scent and their sound. So he would still be able to smell her.
Sure,
but maybe
throw it over your shoulder, walk on two legs. Because you see what he can see, right? When he's seeing through his eyes, those two sheep that they're covering up on are kind of fatter and oddly shaped through his eyes, It's just why bother?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just visually. That's the answer, really. It's
just
how
like
boring
Harry
would it be if she's not there the entire episode?
Harry Potter, they did the same thing.
Yeah.
But I would have been happy knowing she was invisible and just watching Percy go bah and crawl.
But how does she get paid for that episode then?
She's there, Brianna. She's just invisible.
I don't know if that's how pay works.
Okay, so go ahead. Let's go over the show part now.
But I actually have two corrections I have to make because they were so bad.
Oh,
After watching the show twice and then making an entire episode about the show last week episode, I then watched it a third time with my husband, and then I realized that, first of all, Annabeth was definitely wet when she's walking up to see the sirens. I thought she was dry. That's because she's so wet that she looks dry.
Okay.
No, like, seriously, but I noticed water dripping from her fingertips.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, she's wet. And, like, because of the way her hair is styled, it's not like when my hair is wet, it's really visually obvious.
Tell. Yeah.
But with the way her hair was styled, it wasn't visually obvious.
Hair,
so I thought she was dry, but she wasn't. So my bad.
Good.
She was wet. And also,
we take back everything bad thing we said about that specific point.
Yeah. Well, actually, I thought it was like on purpose, but no.
Oh, that's right.
And then also, I thought that when Cece complimented her on her good plan, that Annabeth became like kind of, I don't know, like happy with the praise, but I was kind of out of sequence what I remembered. What happens is when Annabeth is explaining her plan, she gets really like passionate and kind of opens up, and then the second Cece's like, that could work, she like shuts down again. So I think that's supposed to be like her love of planning, and like her personality starts coming out, but then Cece like makes her withdraw when
Huh.
she starts to talk about the plan.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay, cool.
so she hated Cece the entire time. Did not warm up to her once.
Sounds like
That's
Annabeth. It really
yeah,
does.
very smart.
Annabeth
Okay,
is
good.
slow to warm up, where Percy's usually a little faster.
Yeah,
In most cases,
very
like with
Medusa.
Medusa. Yep.
Yeah. So when I saw this episode came out, I saw the title of the episode and like the thumbnail of the episode, and I had so much hope in my heart because it's called Nobody
Nobody
Gets the
gets the
Fleece.
fleece. I know
Except
it
for
does.
that's
It's not even
really not an
correct.
accurate description of this episode
Mm-mm.
because Luke gets the fleece, not nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Luke.
And nobody should have been either Percy or Annabeth, because in the book they are both
Right,
being
it's
nobody.
both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I guess neither of them get the fleece, but also Annabeth kind of gets the fleece. Or she gets kidnapped with the fleece.
Oh, I guess nobody got the fleece.
Yeah, I
But
guess.
well,
But
yeah.
she
Then
says
we,
that
then we have
nobody
to talk
sent
about the whole
her. It's
nobody
so
thing.
confusing. So I was like, okay, the episode title made me excited, and then I was like, but
I
then at
agree.
least I saw them both wearing the sheep. So I was like, there are gonna be sheep. The sheep are here. That was my first thought. There's sheep. There's gonna be sheep, and there were. So
Hmm.
yay. So we started this episode with what I thought was Percy sinking in the water, and
Me
I thought he
too.
must be
And
having a dream. I was like, oh,
I
this
was
is the
just
start of his
confused.
dream. That's what I thought. And
Yeah.
then I was like, but that's the exact shipwreckage.
Oh, yeah. No, I actually only for a very split second thought it might be Percy. And then I was like, wait, is that Tyson? So,
Yeah, once I
yeah.
noticed the exact like shipwreckage like falling around him, I was like, seems like a weird dream to have. This is probably Tyson. And then like zooms in, and I was like, hey, it's Tyson.
Yes.
There's a few scenes here. I think it was because of like the dimmer lighting that his eye looked not so good. Just like a few shots, and I think it was like the dim lighting. But then when
It's
Rainbow
hard
shows
in
up and
there.
like lights up the water, then
Is
his
that
eye
what
looks
that
perfect.
is? When the light
Yeah,
suddenly hits, I had two thoughts. I thought, is that Rainbow? Does Rainbow glow in the dark underneath the ocean?
I think. Well, there's still
Or
light coming through the water, and I think it's shimmering off his scales.
or my other thought was like in other times when Percy has sunk into the water and there was light, there was one of those near ads or, you
Mm.
know, I thought maybe it was like indicating that he got talked to by someone. No, you think
Considering that
it's
the subtitles say creatures roar or whatever, creature, I said creatures
really?
making a sound. Uh-huh.
Oh, you know what? I didn't have subtitles on.
Yeah.
That's silly. I
So
really
it just said
should.
creatures plural, and I noted that. I was like, creatures.
Oh,
More than one.
interesting.
There's more than one there, I bet.
Do you think that it was smart to show Tyson here as opposed to just having the amazing big reveal of suddenly he's there, like in the book, suddenly he's there to save them?
I don't know. I think it makes sense for the show because we're seeing other people's stories. And also it's like we're trying to get more rainbow without showing rainbow too much because of the CGI budget. And that's why I think they keep on having Tyson like playing with rainbow, but we don't see him. It's just like,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think it would have been cool to have it just be a reveal when he showed up. That's my. I don't think I don't like. I'm not strongly feeling one way or the other. I just think that'd be cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Tyson still has this bracelet.
Yeah, you
Rainbow
see
must
it.
freaking love this bracelet. Rainbow can sense this bracelet from across the ocean,
Well,
okay?
it glows in the
This
dark
is
just like
Rainbow's
him. Her.
favorite possession.
It.
It.
Yeah. They.
I think Rainbow's a him. I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good
Anyways, I think
question.
that's so funny because like even on the island, like Tyson like looks at the bracelet and then the hippocampi show up. I'm like, how does
This
Rainbow
bracelet's
know?
actually
It really is magical.
it is. It literally is connected to Rainbow's essence or something crazy.
Somehow. Maybe Tyson knows how to do that. Tyson can magically. Well, okay. Apparently, Cyclopses can just magically be connected to any object. The second they touch the real golden fleece,
Mm,
Polyphemus
good.
from across the island magically knows.
I
So,
take that. That's a great explanation. Sounds good.
okay, good.
So that
That's
ends that
Tyson in the
scene.
water.
Yeah.
Now we come to Percy's dream.
Right, which I want
He's
to
in the big
say
house.
this
Uh-huh.
dream is supposed to compare to the chapter 13 right before chapter 14. Yes, chapter 13 comes right before chapter 14. Sorry, that was dumb. But like the one right before this scene, he has a dream. And he also has, this is the one we talked about last episode where Thalia is like, are we going to look in that sarcophagus or not? And then she looks and then she screams. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the dream that, because every dream that Percy has in the TV show does correspond with a dream in the book every single time. It is fascinating, but it's never the same dream. But it does correspond. When he has a dream in the book, they put the dream in the TV show. So I found that fascinating. So
And
tell
hey,
me,
Thalia is in the dream.
well, yeah. So finish telling about the dream, and then I want to tell you what I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. So, first of all, everyone is dead.
I know.
There's just dead campers littering the floor. I'm like, that's
So
new.
disturbing.
It's pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like turns around and like the doors slam open and Kronos comes in and then zaps him with lightning.
Right.
And
did you think
I was so
immediately?
mad. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Me
Kronos
too.
doesn't have lightning? Where does time powers? What is happening right now? I was like, what?
Yes.
I had to watch it twice because I was like,
I had to
that was really
pause
funny.
at the point where the lightning was coming out of the. It was coming out of the light too.
His like lantern, which also, what's the lantern
I'm
thing
not sure
doing?
what
But
that.
that's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, you also skipped the fact that they like fully like concentrated on this one girl's face, and I had to watch it over and over.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
who is that girl? I don't think she's anybody.
I think it's just like, no, they're really dead, see? But
Yeah,
like we
like,
don't want to show
look,
that
this
many
really-
dead faces.
Yeah.
That's what I
Or
got
this
from
girl
it.
was just the best at looking dead. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, we only want to do makeup for one of them.
Yeah.
So
Anyways,
yeah, so that was funny.
so we don't see
But then
Thalia's face in that moment. We just think it's
yeah,
Cronus.
but then when he wakes up, there's like a lightning storm happening outside. So then I was like, well, maybe like that's what it's supposed to be. It's like he's hearing the thunder and it's like coming into his dream, but I still hated it. I still
Yeah,
was so confused
me too.
until Annabeth woke up and they had this conversation. They had
And
like two conversations. I don't remember what happens first, but they talk about like what the plan is because he's like, we got to get Rover right now. And she's like, no,
Right.
this is the plan. When she mentions sheep in her plan, and I was like, heck yeah. And then they talk about the dream. And he says, I saw under his hood.
Right, and he says it's Thalia. Like he says it wasn't him, it was a girl, and then she's like, "Oh, Thalia." How would he know? But
How would
he
he
knew.
know?
Oh,
But
I think he
he
just
kind of,
sometimes in
I don't
dreams you know this is who that person is, even if you don't know
Yeah.
what they look like.
Or maybe Annabeth described her really well when she was having her flashbacks. Because we were only seeing her flashbacks, so we didn't know exactly what she was saying out loud to Percy. Maybe she was like, this is exactly what Thalia looks like.
Yeah. So Thalia's in this dream, walking in wearing the same cloak that Kronos is wearing, holding the same lantern
Mm-hmm.
that
For
Kronos
some
has,
reason.
for some reason. Now, when I read this went back and I decided to read the dream again. Remember how I said that I think what she saw when she screamed was Luke in there? But what if she saw herself and we were wrong? And Rick knows that because Rick was the author, and this is him showing us.
That is, yeah, I mean, that would make her scream. Maybe, like, the screaming specifically seems like a weird reaction to Luke. I think that would be, like, more sad. But you know what would be
Right.
terrifying is seeing yourself in that coffin.
Right, because if they were to call Thalia in, maybe, honestly, Cronus would probably be like, you know what, Luke, I think I like her body better because she's
Definitely.
more powerful. She's one of the
Yes.
big three. So then she would have been, because we know what's going to happen. Well, you know,
Yeah.
we know where this goes. So it would make sense.
Yes. I agree, but I didn't think about that. I just was like, this is weird.
Because I was trying to figure out why they're showing her face. And that is like the only way that can connect that I'm okay with. Because
Yeah.
if they are planning on taking this to Thalia being a bad guy.
No, because even Annabeth herself says,
When she's talking
like,
to Luke.
yeah,
Like she
how
might
she
have-
would never
yeah.
want war.
But see, Percy throws out this line when they're talking, like, my mom says that dreams never lie. You just don't really know.
Yes, but I think what he's seeing is Cronus's plan. So yes, it's not lying. Cronus's
Right.
plan is to get the fleece, use it to heal himself, then give it to Camp on purpose. He wants Camp to have it
So that Thalia.
to bring out another player in this game. Having two options instead of one, especially one who's obviously not on his side at all.
Right.
Bring
Yeah.
Thalia on purpose out of the tree to then use her as a vessel. I think that's his
Good.
plan, so that must be what Percy's seeing.
That makes me happy if that's all we're showing in this scene. Because, yeah, we're not going. There's no way they can twist it and go the route of Thalia being bad because that would just mess up all of book
No.
3.
I don't know why they would do that. After
I don't know.
everything
I'm
they've
just
done in this
scared.
season, to keep it accurate, why would they change an entire character's entire plot?
Yeah.
Like
I'm
entire
scared a little
story.
bit only because of the interviews I've seen where Walker, first of all, Walker has said like he gets nervous every time they change they changed the TV show from the book because he is a big fan and he knows what big fans are like, and so he gets nervous about it. Like he will like himself be a little like, oh, I don't know, I hope this works, or I hope this is okay, you know. And then he did say that like there is something that happens in the last episode of this season that is going to shock the book fans, and he says, but it sets up season 3 really well. And I'm just like, okay. So, but it can't be Thalia being, it just can't, I don't know how, who knows? I'm not sure what they'll twist.
Or maybe Annabeth gets taken at the end of this episode again,
Yeah,
or
but
she
Annabeth's
doesn't come
already been
back.
taken.
They don't save her. Maybe they don't save her.
See, that's what I thought too, and I thought, that is dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're supposing now, and we're off the subject here. So, in the conversation that you mentioned that they talked about the sheep, I was like, okay, so they know the Odyssey, which they did. I mean, Annabeth already knew
does.
this. Yeah. So she already knows the plan. I feel like they didn't talk about it at all in the book. She just started using it at that moment, unless we just don't know. Maybe they did talk about it in the book.
Well, no, because it happens like this. Like Percy is thinking Annabeth's plan is so crazy, but it might work. But they don't say what the plan is. They just do the plan. So I think they did talk about it.
Yeah. I know that this sometimes takes us forever when we go off, but I just have this other thought. Like, I worry a little bit at how they keep portraying Percy knowing all the myths. I know we've talked about this all through season 1, but Annabeth doesn't get enough credit for being super smart in this TV show. I can't really see that where you get it so much in the books because Percy's not smart. So the comparison's it's not that he's not smart. It's not that. It's just he doesn't know a lot. His mom didn't raise him that way. So we don't get to see how brilliant Annabeth is that much. Only little bits here and there, and it bothers me a little.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyways,
it's like the opposite problem of Percy Jackson, where they made like Harry so dumb and all of his good ideas went to Hermione. Now
now
we're making Percy too smart.
You're right. They also made Ron dumb. They just gave
everyone was dumb.
Yeah, Hermione was the only
everyone
smart
was dumb but Hermione
in the movies. Yeah, for sure. In this case, they're doing a great job making Percy smart, but they're taking away from Annabeth's shine, and I have a bit of a problem with that. But we don't have to talk about it more than that. I just thought about it at this moment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they are a little bit. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we go to the next scene.
Yeah, so this scene, you're looking at the island, you're hearing Polyphemus talk. And he's talking about how the gift of this island is being alone, and how if you don't trust, when you learn to trust nobody.
No, he says he actually says specifically, if you don't trust nobody.
Right. If you don't trust nobody, you can like keep your treasure safe or whatever. I'm like, I know that he talks a little weird, but like the way he emphasized nobody, I think was like a nod to the readers / watchers more than him actually meaning specifically nobody, Odysseus. So that's kind of funny.
Because they've made this Cyclops smart and not dumb.
Yeah. I appreciate when they at least just like nod to us. They're like, hey.
Yeah. It would have been fun having Polly, we'll just call him Polly, continue to be that silly. Yeah, that kind of dumb. I would have enjoyed that, but that's fine. They are trying to also, in a way, show us that monsters are the same as humans. It's a new vision that's being pushed along.
It's new but not new. I mean, it's new because in the first series, this doesn't happen really at all. Although sometimes Percy feels guilty. Even when he's fighting Polyphemus, he feels guilty.
Oh yeah, totally.
But in the book where Annabeth and Percy get separated from their friends and they go on their own adventure in the second series.
That's a good way of not spoiling anything.
You start getting this thing that Rick starts doing, which is like, yeah, okay, these monsters are trying to kill you, but look what you did to them. And that's Percy true. Has to really confront what he has done to all of these monsters throughout his entire demigod life, basically.
So I wonder if at that point Rick was like kind of wishing he had put that in all along a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. So like, okay, it's new because it was never in these 5 books, but it's not new because Rick just does that later. And now since that's what he's been doing, I think he's going back and kind of putting it in. And honestly, I don't hate it because, I mean, okay, yeah, they're trying to kill you and eat you, but it's like, well, you're their food. You know what I mean? It's not nice. They're not nice, but like you are their food. Like, are they inherently evil beings or are they just living their version of life and you're living your version of life?
Right. For sure. I mean,
you know?
if we were to write a book from the viewpoint of the cows or something, we are
Yeah,
the evil people, but we love
exactly.
those hamburgers. So I
But
don't
we're like,
know.
hey, this is what we eat.
It's
I'm
a
sorry.
circle of life. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I agree with you from that. Looking at it from that way, I understand it better. But still, despite him doing that in that one book in the second series, there's still the humor of these monsters or goddesses being kind
Yeah,
of, they're just silly.
they're dumb.
They're
They're
kind of
all kind of
dumb.
dumb.
Yeah, they just have a
Even
lot
the
of
gods are just like
powers.
really self-centered
Yeah,
and like really easy to trick because
exactly.
they're so self-centered.
And I love that. I love that
Yeah.
about the books. I will always go to the books first before the TV series, but I get that they're doing it different here, and that's
And
fine.
not only that, they do a good job at even in serious moments in this show, in this episode, there's like really serious moments and they add that drop of humor.
That's true.
So they're still doing it,
That's true.
just
They're
not
doing
with
better
the
this season.
monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Polyphemus is talking. You see that Clarice and Grover are tied back to back,
Yeah.
just like we saw in that little preview. And then Clarice is like, for someone who, for someone who says they like to live alone, you never shut up. And then
Right.
this is when Grover's like, Clarice,
And that
you're
was
trying
my
to get us killed.
that's where I noted like, okay, so here's the nod to Clarice like egging him on a little bit, or whatever. Yeah.
Definitely. And then you also see this shovel dripping something that I
I
first thought was
was
silver. I thought it was like
oh.
silver, but then I don't know why. I think the lighting was just weird the first time I watched it, but of
Mhm.
course I figured out it's the gold paint.
Yeah, it took me a bit to figure that out.
Maybe he like scooped the paint
That's
onto
a good
Fleece.
question. Why is the shovel, unless it's dripping on through the hole onto that shovel where he put it?
No, because when you see where it's dripping, it's not dripping into the hole.
I don't know why. You're right. I don't know why the shovel is the thing
I
that's
just am
dripping.
gonna
That's
assume he
weird.
used the shovel as a paintbrush. You know?
There's so many other tools it could have used. Okay, fine. I never thought about that. All I know is I was so confused about the dripping
Huh?
shovel. I was
I
like,
was
is
like,
it
okay, this is
melting?
important, but I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
And then he explains this thing about Polyphemus explains this thing about how he collects voices, and it seems like when he kills the people and collects their voices, he also gets to learn about their life.
I know
Like
it
when he
does
steals
seem like
their
that.
voice, he gets their knowledge because he explains how this one guy taught him about anime.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
So funny. And the other guy taught him about the ships that sail the stars and the seas.
Maybe he makes them talk to them about things before he kills them and
I don't know.
absorbs that while
I
they're
I think
talking.
this kind of makes sense in the way that the Cyclopses could pluck Annabeth's dad's voice out of her head.
Oh,
They
that's
seem to
true.
have
In the
a
books.
mind in the
So that
books.
was when in the book where she was talking about what happened when she was a kid.
They seem to get bits of your personality. I think they can do that. I think that's part of their
Interesting.
power. So I don't think it's that weird, but I was intrigued by this concept.
It's funny, my note about what happened here was talking heads. And then later I looked at it and I'm like, talking heads? That's an office thing. I forgot what I was talking about.
That's
Also,
funny.
those heads are awfully small.
I
Oh, and
think
it's
his
supposed to be
size
in his
likes to
head,
shift
in his
in his
hand,
hand.
maybe. That's
They
why they
love
look
to
small.
shift his size. Like at one scene when him and Tyson are standing kind of far apart, you're like, wow, Polyphemus is like three times his size. And then when they're fighting next to each other, you're like, oh, he kind of comes up to like his chest.
Yeah.
You know, it's very confusing. His size
I'm
kind of
sure it's hard to keep
differs.
that. Yeah, I'm sure it's hard to keep that, like, that making him so much bigger,
Yeah.
however they do it. Also,
But yeah,
he insinuates that Pan did something here.
okay, right. So that's my next thing is Grover's like, oh, well, who taught you to, trick satyrs to come and to their doom? And then he was like, no, Grover then specifically asks, like, how did you know it would give off the same scent as Pan?
Hmm.
And then he says, who do you think brought it to me? Or who do you think brought it? He didn't say
Yeah.
to me, he just said, who do you think brought it? So I'm like, okay, does that mean Pan
He
just
doesn't
brought it
say
to this
to me.
island
Right.
and then
Maybe
you
he
came
hid
to this
it.
island?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe Pan hid it there. I
I
don't
don't
know if
know. It
it's
kind of
ever.
doesn't make sense. Or he's
Yeah.
just like egging him on.
See, the reason I get that it smells or it calls them in is because Pan brings kind of life to the wild, right? And this fleece brings life to the wild. So it's got a similar magic to Pan. Yeah. So I'm thinking that's why it smells like Pan. Like, so would Pan actually, I don't think Pan had anything to do with the fleece in general. I think it just has that connection, similar magic.
Yeah,
In
that's
the
what I
actual,
thought
all the
too.
myths, or even in the books, I don't think they had any
Or was it
connection.
Pan who blessed the sheep?
Maybe we'd have to read the. This is the
I
problem
don't
is we're not
remember.
big Yeah, we're not. We love the myths, but don't know them very well. We're more
Yeah,
like
I only know
Percy.
the most popular ones. I don't know all the little ones.
We're more like book Percy and less like book Annabeth.
Yeah,
Anyways,
exactly.
interesting something to look into. But okay,
I
so
kind of
yeah,
just thought this was like a good, like, be like, hey, remember Pan and the quest Grover's on? Okay, moving on. Because I couldn't really understand why else.
yeah. Also, it's Polyphemus trying to make Grover doubt his god.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and hopefully
Yeah,
that's all it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, here we go. Now we got Percy and Annabeth, and they're putting their plan into action. Percy says he's going to watch the cave entrance, and Annabeth is going to go and get the sheepskin, which, of course, Polyphemus, cuts the sheep's, skins the sheep's, and then just leaves their wool on the fence.
I was.
Very helpful.
Oh, I was hoping you were being sarcastic with that, of course, because I was like, sure, there's just some sheepskins laying out.
I don't
Why?
know, like, maybe they're drying. Maybe they're
Maybe they're
freshly,
drying.
like, because you do have to dry them out in the sun.
Because he does eat these sheep. Like he does
Hmm.
kind of raise them and eat them because satyrs aren't coming all the time. This guy needs to be fed. He doesn't have enough sheep. There's no way. There's got to be at least 17 other pastures to keep this guy fed. That's crazy. There was like
Probably.
9 sheep.
Oh,
I'm worried
God.
about him suddenly.
Yeah. Well, maybe he fishes.
He
Maybe he goes
fishes.
fishing.
So, for whales. Okay, good.
Yeah, for hippocampi. So while she's getting the
Fleece.
sheep
No.
wool,
Sheep
yeah,
wool,
well,
yeah.
they are fleeces.
Yeah, they are.
While she's getting the non-magical fleeces, Luke calls.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay, fine. Fine. Luke
this
calls.
could have happened
Fine.
when Percy wasn't
Sure.
there, I
But
guess, although Percy then shows up.
they're on a timeline and Annabeth
I know,
stops
Annabeth's
and
pissing me off.
talks. Oh my
Can't you talk and
goodness.
walk? Like, grab, like, I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, and then Luke's like warning her, and she's like, I don't need your help. I don't want your help. And then he's like, okay, so I guess I'm just wrong about everything, no matter what I say. And I'm like, this is so sibling coded right now, though.
Right. It's good. It's true.
I was like, I
Oh
was
my
like, he's being
goodness.
ridiculous because it's like, hi, you're trying to destroy our entire world. Yeah, I'm gonna be mad at you. But
Right.
it's really funny of him, like, I guess I'm just wrong no matter what I say. And then Annabeth like says like, well, you're right about one thing. Thalia did hate Zeus, but she never would have wanted war. And
Right. Like,
then
sure, she wants to change because he was like, she would want to change things. Like, yes, of course she wants to change things, but not by, no, not by doing what he's
no,
doing.
no.
And that better be
And then
true.
she starts to say that like so much of you has changed. You've let Kronos change so much of you that you don't even realize like how different you are. And there's kind of like almost a sentimental moment, and then Percy comes and slashes through and is like, "What are you doing?"
Oh my God. I was
Which
like,
is
yes,
so
Percy.
fair.
Yes,
But
Percy.
also, I do feel like he's a little bit jealous. But I don't know if we're just reading into it, or if he's really just like,
100%. No, he's
you are literally risking our lives to like chat
with the enemy.
with the enemy.
Right.
Like,
So I agree. I do think he is jealous at this moment, but he's also more than anything. I mean, there's the jealousy mixed with the what are you doing
like
irritation.
for real exasperation.
Yes, for real exasperation. Another thing I forgot to mention. So they made a plan while they were on the ship. Did they do any recon before? Because I just realized, how did Annabeth know, or Percy, whoever made this plan, know that there was just sheep fleece laying out by the? How did
I
they know
mean, if
there
you
was
can get
sheep?
your well, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so
They
suddenly
were parked when they were sleeping. They were parked at the island,
that's what I thought. I thought that
so they
too.
must have done a quick like look around
Sure. They must have.
before night fell.
Yeah, I guess so. They must
That's the
have
only thing
because
I
it
can
doesn't
say.
make sense otherwise. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, so he stops the conversation. And then do we go at this point over to Luke talking to what's her name?
Yes.
What's her name again?
Yes. Allison. So you hear
Allie.
Allison's voice
Mm-hmm.
actually while you're still looking at Percy and Annabeth, and it's like kind of
Oh,
shifts the scene.
yeah.
But she goes like, she's like, "What was that all about? Like, why are you wasting so much time on Annabeth?" And he's mad. I was like, Allison's pissed me off so much. Like, I hate Allison more than I hate Luke. Like,
She reminds me so much of the Kelly character from later
yeah,
books, who's also like kind of annoying Luke and also being very demanding. And, anyways, it just
yeah. And
reminds me
he's
of
like,
that.
"Who put you in charge?" Like,
Right.
genuinely.
But when you saw this the first time, did you think, again, like, I just get so confused about this Luke Annabeth relationship. I go, did you think, like,
It's
what's
definitely about
Luke
Annabeth.
feeling about Annabeth? What is really happening there? But then he says,
I
the
think
reason
he's
I'm,
scared for her. That's what I think. I think he's scared for her life. And he
yeah, I
thinks
mean, he
if
cared,
Thalia comes back, also, to be fair, their plan is to get Thalia back. If Thalia comes back and she finds out that
that Luke
I've
let
been
her die or whatever.
neglectful
Yeah.
and Annabeth died, she's gonna kill me.
But I think you're right that he does care, because if you watch later in this scene when he shows up, we'll talk about,
Hmm.
he's watching her. Even while he's
Yeah.
looking and he's trying to concentrate on the Golden Fleece, he keeps looking to see where she is. But again, it confuses me and like what the relationship is through this. Very well, fine. I try to go like, okay, this is just a little sister. He's worried about her little sister. I can't really tell, but he obviously cares about her. It's
I don't
possible.
know, but he says like, well, that had nothing to do with Annabeth. That was just recon. But I'm like, that definitely had to do with Annabeth.
But it
Like,
was
don't
also
even pretend.
recon.
It's two things, but don't
He
pretend
did
it's not
need
two
to know
things.
where she was and how far they've made it. Did they make it on the island? He didn't know where they.
Yeah.
And it's just a coincidence that he happens to call right when they're there. He could have checked in any other time. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he tried to call them, but like reception can be choppy when you're on the water. Like they've had trouble before, sometimes getting a hold of people.
True. I think it's kind of smart of Luke to call in to see how
Yeah.
far have they gotten on their quest.
That's something that should have been done more in the books. Like you
Yeah.
can just call. Like I
Yeah.
don't
You
think the
don't know
other
where
person
someone
has
is,
to
just
hit
call.
answer, right? They can
Wait,
like slice through it and make it go away. So, like it could be
wait.
like the second you call, they could hang up basically.
Why
But you
did
could just
Percy
call anyone
never
at any
call
time.
Grover? What? There's
Great question. Because
oh
he's like, I
my
have no drachmas. I guess I can't call him.
oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, so okay, so that does it is logical that he could have called her. That part is logical. That part is logical. That's all I'm gonna say.
Before we leave the scene, though, he picks up a sword. It's
Uh-huh.
definitely
Back
his sword, which is
backbiter.
backbiter or blackbiter.
It's backbiter. Bites
It's a
your
bad name.
back. It's a horrible name.
It's not a good name. Anyways, so he picks up this sword, and you see it. They don't do this whole explanation about how the sword works, unless they did that last season. I don't remember. But he does like it kind of shines, where only half of it shines and the other half doesn't shine. So that's probably
They
supposed to be the
haven't
moment.
explained, or maybe they. No, I don't know. Did they explain it in season one that it's half celestial bronze and half like regular mortal steel, so it can
I
kill
don't know.
both mortals and immortals?
Mortals
Yeah.
and yeah. I don't know, but we do get this moment where if you know what you're looking for, you can notice it.
Okay. Cool. Good. So then we go back to Annabeth and Percy.
Yep, and they're under the sheepskin and they're crawling along with the little
Mm-hmm.
sheepies. And so I first thought was like, okay, so they're not man-eating sheep then, because you're right there next to them.
Right.
Um, and then my second thought was, this is so funny because Annabeth says, think woolly thoughts.
Uh
And I
huh.
was like, heck yeah, we're doing so good with these little jokes in here.
Yeah.
So
Except for
funny.
that. Yeah. For sure. That to me, that seems like something Percy should have said, but that's okay. But yeah, and then buying like the sheep
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah, it was one of those scenes where you get the humor in the middle of a serious scene, which I loved.
yeah, it was so great. And then I thought maybe I feel like would Polyphemus really not notice two extra sheep though? Like, does he not ever count his sheep?
I thought the
It's
same
fine.
thing. I think he
It's
actually
fine.
knew they were there. If you look at his
That's what I think
face
too. I think he knew they
when
were
he
there.
it shows like his sight, what he sees, right? And then it shows his face and he gets this little tiny smirk.
I know. And I
And
was
I
like,
was
that could be
like,
like, oh yay, my sheep are. He does love his sheep in the book, but I'm like, I don't know.
oh,
I think he knows.
I think
I
he
think he's like,
knows.
oh look, there's two extra.
Yeah, I think he's like, oh good, they took the bait. They're coming along
Yeah,
just fine.
yeah.
I also think this is the dumbest plan ever. I really do.
I couldn't. I was like, wait, Percy was already. I yeah.
They walked all the way to the sheep's enclosure. Why couldn't they just walk all the way to the branches?
I don't
Why
know.
couldn't Annabeth say, just stay right here, Percy, put on her invisibility cloak, run to the branches, grab the wool? I'm so confused about why all of this had to happen. Because
I
they're
know.
trying to
Once they're
follow the
back,
books, but they're not
I
following the
know.
books enough. Like that one made sense. They had to get in the cave.
Yeah, it is confusing, honestly. Once they were like back at the cave entrance, but then had their woolly things on, I'm like, well, you guys were just here. Like, what are we doing? So confused.
Yeah.
But I think it's like all based around how much Polyphemus can hear and
Well,
smell,
apparently he's
but
supposed to
they're
hear
not talking about it
everything.
enough.
Right. So they're
Yeah.
supposed to be hearing everything. But when they sneak up and then the other sheep continue to walk off and they hide behind a boulder, right? And they watch him and he walks over just barely past the tree. And they're like, he's gone. And they run to the tree. I'm like,
It seems like you could have
too
just,
close. He would have heard you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Okay.
this plan kind of doesn't make sense,
No.
which is sad because Annabeth's plans are supposed to be so smart and good. That's like the point.
Clarice is smart when she breaks the mirror. I know that's a little bit later, but like that's like more Annabeth style. When she breaks the mirror with his hoofs just so she could get a shard and cut the ropes. I mean, that's like thinking smart. Although she should have done that maybe 3 hours before.
Well, I mean, I guess Polyphemus
Or the
did
night
recently
before.
leave the cave.
Oh, he did. Yeah, you're right. He would
Okay,
have heard.
but first we see Percy at the hole. He's
Mm-hmm.
looking down. He sees two of them. He does two to Annabeth. She apparently doesn't know what that means. So then he has to run back to her, explain that Clarice is there too.
Yep.
Now we see Grover and Clarice, and Clarice like lifts him up, breaks the mirror, gets the glass. And I was like, good planning, bad communicating. You know what
For
would have made
sure.
this easier? Hey, Grover, I'm gonna lift, you kick off the ground, okay? And then kick the mirror. Then we're gonna cut ourselves free.
She couldn't say
Just
that.
communicate.
No, they were gagged. That's why they couldn't yell at Percy to
But they could talk pretty easily through their gags.
kind of.
She could have just said, I'm gonna lift you.
Yeah, kind
Don't
of.
struggle. Okay, so now we see Percy and Annabeth again, and he's now explaining Clarice is there too, she's alive, and Annabeth's like, what are we gonna do? We barely have enough time to get one of them out of there. How are we gonna get both of them? And then Percy goes, we could just leave Clarice. And I was like, again, funny joke, serious moment. And he's like, joking, mostly.
He goes, just kidding, kinda. And then he just goes, let's go.
Kinda.
He like doesn't take a
Yeah,
moment to discuss it. But yeah, that's very book Percy, very book
that
Percy.
is definitely. And then Annabeth ties a knot, and that made me mad. Percy should have tied the knot around the tree.
Right, because it was
He's
like a
supposed to be great
perfect
at tying
sailor's
knots.
knot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
See what I'm
Percy
saying?
should have
Like
tied it.
there's
They're
somehow
swapping
not an
things.
understanding of where these two are supposed to have their own strong points that together make like they are the most formidable team together because they each have their strong points.
Yes,
And we're
absolutely.
missing that in
We
this
are.
show. They are definitely making him more powerful by himself with his knowledge and everything. But fair enough. They make a rope like they've obviously already tied knots on this rope and gotten all ready and stuff.
Yeah. And so they throw it down, and Percy starts climbing down, and Annabeth starts getting little drips on her. And she looks up and notices that the fleece is dripping gold paint. And she's like, shoot. And I was like, oh, okay, it's all adding up now. It's the fake fleece, the gold paint was dripping on the shovel. I get what's happening. Very good plan on Polyphemus's part, except for that, like, let the fleece dry first. Um,
Right, yeah.
it's like dripping. It's
We
soaking
don't know
wet
what
and
he
paint.
had to use for this. He might have had to melt down something gold and like,
Yeah,
oh, he could have melted something gold and used the shovel to like dip out of the melted gold and like, like get up.
pour it.
I'm doing a whole visual bit here that you can't see,
Yeah,
but
but if it was molten gold, I think it'd be burning her. If it was still
oh, okay.
wet enough to be dripping on her.
I mean, maybe he has like a, Amazon Prime and he can get gold
Apparently,
paint.
a full carriage can just come in a ship. I'm sure gold paint comes too.
Probably.
A whole
He's
entire
got
princess
everything.
carriage
Yeah, he's got
and
everything he
wedding
wants.
dress and gold paint.
Sure.
So he's fine.
Fair.
He
Fair.
basically is Amazon.
That's great. Oh my! I did think it was awfully slow, her staring at the dripping, but I guess it took a little bit to go process why is this thing dripping? Oh shoot.
Yeah. And then they're still trying to be quiet, so she's trying to get Percy's attention. And at the bottom of the pit, they're trying to tell Percy also that it's a trap because they've cut themselves free. But it's
And
just too
this is
late.
true
Polyphemus
Percy.
is sprinting towards them.
This
Percy
is
is can't hear either of them because he's right in the middle, I guess.
well, it's true Percy that he's not quite getting the urgency from either of them because that is Percy would be like, oh yeah, they're yelling because they're so excited to see me. Like he wouldn't put it together.
Yeah. But then he does, and they tell him to start climbing up.
Which
Annabeth is like, it's too late. I'm putting my cap on,
yeah,
which is smart. There you go.
yes,
She's being
thank you.
smart
When she put
there.
her cap on,
But
I was
see,
like,
there was
finally,
earlier in the season, she was super smart too when she killed those soldiers.
and put the cap on. Yeah, that's true.
So she
There's
has her
moments.
moments. They're just less of them, maybe,
Yeah.
but they're there. They're there.
Well, they don't stick out as much because they're also giving Percy those same brilliant moments. That's the problem. They just
Yeah,
don't
but
stick
and
out as
that's
much.
yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying.
But so he tries to climb up, which is unfortunate because he doesn't make it on time. So now he's higher to the ground, except
Yeah. But
for,
then he like smashes the boulder on the rope, and at that point Percy's smart enough to start letting go and starting to
yes,
slide
he
down
does.
as much as he can before it's too late, and then drops into Clarice's arms, and it
Yeah.
was so funny. He's like, "Hi," and she throws him on the ground. It
She
was
like
the
just drops
best.
him like violently on the floor. She doesn't even
Yeah,
just set him down,
and he
which
goes,
is
"Okay."
perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect Clarice and Percy. The
it
funny
was
thing
so
is
good.
that the comparison in the book is him. Remember,
Uh
he's like he
huh.
makes it into the cave, right? And then Annabeth starts to distract Polyphemus with, "Hey, I'm nobody," and like, and in this case, he leaves the boulder door wide open. But in this case, Percy is the one that goes and unties Clarice as opposed to her untying herself. And she is like kind of disgruntled that she has to say thanks to him, you know? So
And she
it's
does bridal
different.
style carry someone, but she bridal styles carries Annabeth
Annabeth, yeah.
when she's too injured to walk.
So there, it's like little tiny. Every time there's a little tiny bit, like oh yeah, 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 that compares. Otherwise, there's not a lot of comparisons on each of these. The way they did this is not a lot of comparisons. So
No.
yeah.
So, Annabeth starts saying that I was sent by nobody, and I was like, "Hey, they're doing it."
No, for one sentence. They did it for
And
one
then,
sentence.
and then Polyphemus is like, "Reveal yourself, and I'll kill you quick," which I thought was good because
Yes.
monsters love to do that in Percy Jackson. They're always like, "Hey, listen, I'll make your death painless,"
Yeah,
and
as if that's
the
what you're looking
heroes are
forward
always,
to.
yeah, the heroes are always like, "I'm gonna pass on that offer, but thank you."
Exactly.
So this was very funny. And then she then is like, oh, was that insensitive of me? Like, I know that nobody was Odysseus and he tricked you and then stabbed your eye. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we're not doing it.
But see, this
What?
goes back to what they did with what's the guy in the waterbed?
Yeah, I don't remember. He had a dumb
In
name.
season one. Yeah, it's the same thing where Percy in the show walks in and says, "I know you're this whole thing, and that you're like this," and da 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 da. So it's the same thing. She's like, it ruins the whole point of the whole nobody scene to instantly be
Yeah.
like, am I making you feel bad because I'm bringing up nobody? Like, no, 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 just be nobody. How
Yeah.
hard is that? Anyways, I wanted to go to the book for a second here just to remind everybody about nobody. So like, and this is Annabeth yelling that she's nobody and then saying things like, you're too stupid to remember anybody, much less nobody. Like, it's a great play on words throughout the whole thing. It does say in here, nobody wouldn't make any sense to anybody. That was funny. But Annabeth had explained to me that it was the name. So Annabeth explained to him, again, because that's how Percy Jackson the books is.
They did talk about the plan.
Yeah, that it was the name Odysseus had used to trick Polyphemus centuries ago, right before he poked the Cyclops' eye out with a large hot stick. And they figured that would be a good name to use because it would be so upsetting to him that he would get completely distracted. That was the idea
Yeah.
behind that.
And it was so funny in the book because Percy thinks to himself, it doesn't seem to matter that Annabeth's voice is female and
Yeah,
Odysseus's was a male, but then again, he was going to marry Grover, so I don't think he really has
he
the whole
doesn't get the
male female
voice.
thing straight.
He doesn't get the voices. Definitely.
And that was so funny to me. Okay, so this next scene comes along where Luke just portals in to the island.
Oh
And
my
I'm like, oh
gosh.
yeah, that's right, because Luke can just portal wherever he wants. But we do get some stipulations in this episode of how that works. But I'm like,
Oh my goodness. I was
so
so
this is where everything like
upset.
went off
This is
so
literally
hard.
ruined. I was doing okay. I was able to handle most of these changes. Okay, fine. We've done this a little different. It's whatever. But Luke just casually, okay, not just opening a portal, but do we know how the Sea of Monsters works?
Oh my gosh, that's what I'm saying.
He just
I'm
casually opens up an exact destination in the Sea of
like you're
Monsters.
telling me he could just open a portal into Tartarus. Like this is basically what this is. Like, he could open a portal into the underworld. Like, he could just go
Right.
wherever he
Wherever he
wants.
wants. And let me just tell you something. He would have just opened a portal right underneath the fleece on the branch, grabbed the fleece, disappeared. What?
Maybe he can't aim that well, I guess. I don't know. He'd have to know where the fleece was, and I don't think he could see it exactly where it was from the video call.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Either
who knows?
way, opening a portal in the Sea of Monsters, there is absolutely nothing anyone, including Rick, could do to convince me that this could happen in the world of Percy Jackson.
Nope, I don't like it.
Yeah, and I could go on and be really annoying, but I won't. It's just, it
You can't, it's
happened.
just, it happened and why? We
And
don't
then what did
know
you
if
get from the,
choices were made.
I know the conversation's had later, but let's just have it now since we're talking about portals and I'm so irritated I need to get over with. What did you get from what Luke said about it doesn't work that way? Like something like he already
I
used it?
already used it.
Does it
Yeah,
have a
I guess there's
charging
like a
cord?
cooldown. There's a cooldown time. And
I
the
mean,
cooldown
that's
time
not
seems to be long
impossible.
because he has to leave on a boat. He leaves on their boat. He can't even portal away.
Right. If you know any of these kind of fantasy books where someone has a power, you take Fourth Wing, for example, like it would just be never ending if you could just not, if you don't have any kind of, what's the word? Like something to like make it so that you can't
Checks and balances.
yes, checks and balances. So obviously it makes sense. Does make sense that if you have something like that, that it could just be used all the time unless you're, what's that person from the Marvel movies? Anyways, whatever. Doctor Strange
Doctor
with
Strange.
this. Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, but that being thrown, this new skill from Luke being thrown into the mix is bothering me because it opens the doors to so many opportunities that he wouldn't have before. It's almost like the time turners. Like he needs to lose this somehow.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like, well,
Yeah.
why don't you just do that? You know what I mean? Like everything
Maybe the
gets
cooldown time
solved.
is like months, you know? Maybe that like the last time he did it last year, like it's like once a year. He can do it once a year.
And
That's
just
it.
one person.
With one person. We don't know. It's weird, but there does seem to be some rules about it. Even though when I heard them explain what it was, I was like, wait, what? Like I was like,
Yeah.
you didn't really, but I guess like someone was dying and they probably couldn't have a whole conversation about how it works. But I was like, I feel like I still don't understand how it works.
Yeah, he doesn't explain a lot. He just gives you an idea, unless he's BSing. No, we know he's not because he
No,
has to
because he
take
would
the
have just
ship.
portaled and gotten out. Yeah.
Or no, what if he can only move one person for sure, and he couldn't go with Annabeth, so he took the ship.
Who knows?
It could be that you can only take one person through this portal. It could be that he could have just portaled right back, but because he really wants Annabeth, he took her at that time. I don't know. God, this whole taking Annabeth too. Okay, let's get to that. So
It's very
here
confusing.
comes Luke. He shows up on the island.
Yes. And at the same time, we're having this like back and forth scene, right? We're getting Luke getting to the fleece and blah, 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 and watching Annabeth and visibly dodge the Cyclops as they're running down the hill towards the sheep cage. And then we're also seeing Grover search through the cave and use his nose to find the
Yes,
fleece.
sniffing. I
This is
like
kind of
that he
happening
was
back and
sniffing.
forth.
Yeah. Also, I would like to point out that again, I'm trying to find everything that is the same between this is supposed to be a comparison podcast. That cave is humongous, which it is
Yeah.
described at in the
It's
book.
supposed to be
It's
like a
like,
maze.
yeah, he
Yeah.
like goes on because he's trying to find Clarice and Grover and can't find him when he first goes in. Even though all in the book, Polly just tosses them in the cave from the entrance, but somehow they end up in a whole different room in the cave.
Well, they weren't tied. No, they were tied.
Clarice was tied.
He
Grover
threw them
was
real hard.
ouch, ouch, that must have hurt. Because Percy goes in and he's like, where are they? Anyways, he eventually finds them.
You know what's
But
crazy about this episode is that giant pot of water doesn't become relevant.
yeah, there is a giant pot of water, right? It's
So I
supposed to
think that was
have,
just like a, hey, remember there was one in the book? Okay, that's it. Percy's not going to use it or anything.
yeah, and they're not going to boil it and hang Clarice over it. And yeah. Oh well.
It's there
just,
for
it's just there
it's just
for
a
us
nod
to
and that's
know.
it.
Yeah. That's all
But I
it
was
is.
like, why can't Percy use like why doesn't he use this? It's water right there. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So I was thinking luckily the fleece is fake, so like it's fine if Luke takes it, but then I forgot that it's very obviously fake and can't even trick Luke.
Well, he picks it up and then somehow only his hand gets gold on it. His suit does not.
It
I
started to
checked.
dry more.
Sure. And just the one spot he put his hand on was
I don't
what?
know.
Anyways, okay, fine.
It's so true.
I feel like
And
sometimes I
then
nitpick the stupidest things, but that was one of them. I was like,
yeah, it's
okay.
like this whole thing at this point is so
Yeah.
wrong that it's just
Just
like
like,
whatever.
whatever.
Just move on. It's ridiculous.
Oh, for sure.
Um, and then Grover finds the fleece, and it does look a lot better. I was kind of thinking about in the trailer how when they would do that zoom in on the fleece, I was like, this looks like a really crappy fleece. Well, that's because it was a fake fleece. This is a real fleece, and it looks better, but it's
Uh,
not heavy. It's supposed to be heavy like gold. It looks very light,
it does look very light,
which
which
is
is,
small, but annoyed me.
yeah.
Um,
I didn't even remember that, so good for you. Do you notice that the minute they pick up the fleece, suddenly
uh,
Polyphemus? Okay, you were going to
yep,
mention that.
that's what I was saying about
Mm-hmm.
like how they could just magically connect to objects, I guess. I was like, why would he know?
I know.
How would he know?
Well,
Apparently he's
because you
magically
solved that
connected to the
already.
fleece.
He's
Yeah,
magically
that
connected to it. Wait, so when they stole the
Cyclops.
fleece, oh, it doesn't matter. He died, which also didn't happen in the books. Okay, okay. Anyways, going ahead of myself. So, but yeah, and then Annabeth takes off her hat. I'm so confused. I
I know.
mean,
I was like,
again, it's a
why
TV
would
show
you do that?
thing. And I
But then by the
get
time she gets
that.
smacked again,
Yeah.
she's invisible, and then the invisibility cap flies off her
Well, that's
head. So
because she's
there's
sneaking
no
up on
reason for
him.
this. The
Well, and the
only reason
only
for this is
reason
for
is so
Luke
Luke,
to see
yes.
her. Luke can see her, and we can also get some facial expressions from her
Yeah, that's true.
of like being
Again, it's a TV
confused.
show thing, I guess. I mean, I do actually get that. They can't, yeah, okay. Also,
Yeah,
the fact
but
that
it
Luke
was
just
silly.
keeps looking at Annabeth, you really
Hmm.
pick up this concern
He
from
is
Luke.
has attention on her for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. He's like sent her on all these wild things and putting her so much danger. And then he's like, oh no,
Well, he's a little
whatever, dude.
bipolar in this
He is
entire
100%
situation.
bipolar.
Like he just he's being corrupted. So it's just like bits of his
He's losing bits
more
of
his
his
true
self,
self
like she
and his
said. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Truth. Okay.
Okay, Polyphemus comes back and is like saying like, "Hey, that's my fleece." And then she tries to distract Polyphemus again and gets smacked.
But before that, there's somewhere here they're showing like a scene of them trying to open the door, right? They're trying to open the door with a leverage type of thing. It's not working
Oh,
inside.
yeah.
Yeah. Can I just point out though that he opens the door a little bit, gets distracted by Annabeth, and then they totally drop. I mean, now was the time to stick that pole in there and try to leverage the door open the rest of the way.
Oh,
They're trying when it's
yeah.
closed all the way, can't get anything. And then there's a whole load of time where Percy's just staring through the thing, freaking out when they could be getting that thing in there and leveraging the door open, maybe, possibly. Maybe it wouldn't have worked, but I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, that's so true. I did not think about that. So when Annabeth gets hit and falls to the ground, I was like, okay, we're back on track with the book, right? Like this is supposed to happen. She's supposed to get seriously injured. So we're
Yes,
here.
that was exactly, well, no, not exactly. Polyphemus in the
But
book is holding
basically,
her by the ankle.
yeah, and
He
then Percy
he
gets him
grabs
to
her and
drop her.
shakes her, and the hat falls off. And then Percy, so Percy in this is worried about her, but does not act the way Walker does in this episode. That intensity of freaking out is like Ron in the book in the
Yeah,
Harry Potter books when Hermione's
that's what
screaming
I
and
was
getting
thinking too.
tortured. That is
But
what I would have wanted in the freaking
I know.
movie where Ron is just like and then Walker did this perfectly, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
But
but
Percy is
there's a difference between feeling helpless and not helpless. I think that's what the difference is. Here, Percy is like
can't do
helpless in the
anything.
TV show,
Yeah, that's true.
and that's the same with Ron in the book. In the seventh
He's
book, he's
helpless.
helpless. They're trapped. They can't do anything, and that's that desperation.
Yeah. I do want to say, since this is a book and TV comparison, that at this point we are now in chapter 15, which is now called Nobody Gets the Fleece. And in the book, they left the cave door open. They hear Annabeth scream, rush out to attack together. So in the book, the three of them, Clarice, Grover, and Percy, are doing Attack Plan Macedonia. And then
Yeah,
Polyphemus drops her on the rocks. She is unconscious. Percy is worried, but instead he's fighting Polyphemus. Grover picks up Annabeth, takes her across the rope bridge, and then Percy and Clarice follow, try to cut down the rope bridge. They do, but Polyphemus still makes it over. In that scene, Percy's anger swells to the point where he gets that power he gets every once in a while, where he's suddenly stronger or more capable than he is. Do you remember that in the books? He gets like a
yes,
surge of power every once in a while. He just gets these surges of power, and that happens
yeah,
there. And he just
and
like
he like
beats the
fights the
yeah,
heck out of the Cyclops.
yeah, exactly. But he doesn't kill him. He gives in to the whole pleading, which Clarice is like, no, Percy, just kill him. Clarice would
I
kill him, but
know,
Percy has compassion.
and he's thinking about Tyson.
And he's thinking about Tyson, so he doesn't kill him. And then when the guy is about to get him, Tyson throws a boulder that lands right in his mouth, and he falls into the chasm. And then you think he's dead
Yes,
at that point.
yes,
So that's how. Well, I'll just finish this really fast because there's nothing here really that happens the same. But Tyson explains that Rainbow brought him because he was, and says in the words he was waiting for Tyson to play with him.
yeah,
So that's cute. That's the book and the TV show coming together at that point.
definitely.
The man-eating sheep, are not bothering Tyson because he smells like Cyclops. So they get him to kind of like they get him to grab this fleece, flick it, throw it over to Percy. Percy puts it on Annabeth. She's instantly feeling better. Annabeth looks at Grover and goes, "You're not married." And he says, "No, my friends talked me out of it," which was awesome.
Yeah.
They send Tyson off with the sheep. Clarice carries Annabeth out to the... Oh, carries Annabeth. But then Percy calls the ship because he can, like, call a ship in his mind because that's the powers he has. He's very, very powerful in the books with this kind of stuff. Calls the ship over, and then it switches to chapter 16, which is called I Go Down with the Ship, which when I saw that, I was like, I go down with the ship? I mean, he doesn't really go down with the
They
ship.
go down.
No, they go down with the
The
ship.
ship sinks.
Yeah.
No, well, Percy's still going down because he's trying to save
So.
them.
Yeah. And then Polyphemus shows up, comes out of the chasm, because you can't kill monsters that... chasm, whatever it's called. You can't kill monsters that easily, and he starts throwing rocks at them, and so Percy and Tyson stay to fight him, and there's this whole conversation that is supposed to be relative to the conversation with Tyson in the TV show where he's saying, like, "You're a traitor to your kind," and then Tyson says, "You are not my kind." Right?
Yeah.
So that does compare a little bit to the TV show. And here Clarice is egging on what's his name? Polly from the ship. Again, being completely stupid. And so then he throws a rock in that direction because remember, he can't see, blah, 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 and sinks the ship. So that's their way out. Anyways, so they eventually fight him. You know, like he does something like land on his eyes with his 2 feet, and which must be squishy. And then hurts his eyes more, and then whatever. They don't kill him. They leave him sad on the island. And then
they leave him thinking he sunk nobody, so they leave him happy.
Right. No, you're right. I forgot about that because then Percy's like, I really hope he never figures, like, he actually wants him to be happy. So funny.
Yeah.
Tyson and Percy they're talking to each other through their minds underwater.
Yeah.
Like Percy can usually talk
Which,
to
by the way,
we shark and stuff.
Fully forgot to mention this, but Tyson can also breathe underwater.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In the TV show, we learned
and
that.
He's happy about that. He's like, oh look, I got some Percy magic, you know.
Yeah. So that's good. I'm glad he can do that because he still has some sea powers too.
Yeah. And then they call Rainbow and friends, and they get Grover, Annabeth, Clarice, and stuff. So I just wanted to run through the end of that because there's only very few things to compare.
Yep.
The fact that Rainbow and friends show up at the end. That's something to compare.
Hey, they're here. We wanted them and they're here.
I was very happy to see them.
Yeah. Good. So in the TV show, we now have Tyson show up and is like, don't hurt her in front of Annabeth.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, yeah,
go Tyson,
Tyson's here. And Tyson's Polyphemus is saying like, go away, like these mortals are mine, whatever, like, and saying that they're brothers. And Tyson's like, no, my brother is in that cave. Just so cool.
And Percy's Percy's facial expressions through this whole thing is amazing. His face when he sees Tyson, oh my goodness, like he looks like he's gonna cry from intense relief. His face when Tyson says that it was that's my brother, you get guilt in that face. You actually see his mixture of, oh my gosh, I love this guy, and also I feel very guilty because I haven't been really treating him that way, right?
Yeah.
Which you understand more in the books. You don't really, if you haven't read the books, you won't really get that in the TV show. But
yeah, but you still feel guilty, like I got him killed. You'd think that. That's what Percy kind of thinks.
But I love the facial expression acting in this. I think it's super good.
So good. Yes. Oh God. Yeah, Walker brings out so much emotion. I was so sad at some parts.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna get to it. So Tyson and Polyphemus start fighting, and Tyson's like, please. And you think he's gonna like beg for his life, but he's like, I don't want to hurt you, which is very Tyson.
It is very Tyson.
And also just showing that, I mean, this is definitely a Cyclops, obviously, that is favored by his father.
Right.
So I believe that he is more powerful than this older Cyclops. Like, he is probably, he's blessed, like literally, by his father. Like, has a lot more attention on him.
Yes.
Than any other Cyclops, 100%. Which is cute, probably because he's such a kind soul, and we love him. Everyone loves him. You can't help but love him.
Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe he's better at praying than the other ones. So,
He loves his father so much, despite not having seen him. That if you're right, if the gods would go based off of that worship thing,
hmm
Tyson does have that more.
yeah. So, anyways, he then becomes like the most bad uh,
That word you can't say.
BA
Yeah.
um, Cyclops ever, and he like body slams
I
Polyphemus,
know.
and then they throw themselves off the cliff together. Which now Percy's like, great,
Great.
Tyson's
I
back.
lost him
Now
again.
Tyson's dead. Annabeth looks like she's dead, so he's really in a
He's losing
pickle.
it. He is
He's
losing
losing
it.
it.
Yes.
Um,
And then
but
Luke
Luke
shows up.
shows up. Yay! Or boo! But also without him
Well,
there,
first,
what would they have
immediately,
done? I guess Tyson would have come back.
the minute he sees Luke, his intense freak out, like, oh my God, Luke, you better not hurt her. Oh my, like,
Yeah.
total was like, oh, I could
Get
feel
away
that.
from her! Get away
Get away
from
from
her!
her.
I
And
know.
then oh, it was
This
something. It
whole
was
thing
intense.
is like the most like, hey, remember that fatal flaw we talked about? Let's put it
Right?
on full display to the full extent so everyone really understands what this is
I
about. Like
literally
that's what
wrote,
this is.
I literally wrote the world or Annabeth question mark Annabeth. That's what I wrote in my notes because
Grover
this
or
is
Annabeth? Annabeth. I mean, this is Grover and
this
Beth.
is
Percy's life or Annabeth. Annabeth.
yes.
It's Annabeth.
It's Annabeth. I
Annabeth is his
know.
fatal flaw.
That's why he saw her on the in front of the
Yeah.
sirens. But yeah,
Yep.
so Luke feels his pulse and says she's dying. So do you think she was dying, or do you think Luke was
Yes.
like, really? So I think she was maybe unconscious, but I think he was
But
like,
in the book, she's dying.
okay. I think that there is a connivance here. I think that Luke was like, okay.
Yeah, maybe. I actually, for a moment, I thought he wasn't going to put the fleece on her.
I
For like a
did too. I was like,
moment.
oh
And I
my
was like, are you,
gosh.
what? I'm so mad.
I
But then he
so
did.
did too. Okay, but before we get the fleece out of there, he says she's dying. Um, um,
Percy says
Percy's like, okay, the fleece,
he could
and
use the fleece.
Clarice.
But see, this is why I think he's dying, because Luke doesn't know they have the fleece. Luke doesn't know that they have the real
Okay,
fleece. How would he know that?
maybe.
Because they say, like, he asks Percy, you have the fleece, you have the real fleece? And they're like, yes.
Hmm.
That's why I think he's actually dying. I think Annabeth's actually dying. I think the moment he finds out they have the fleece, then he has an agenda. I
Yeah.
think the second he knows they have the fleece, he will say anything and do anything to get the fleece.
Yes, I agree. So we might have some little baby cute noises here because we have to finish this, and baby woke up. So if you hear some adorable little sounds, that's what it is. But this Clarice grabbing the fleece and being like, "No way, are you giving it to Luke?" I mean, yes, Clarice. Like
I was on Clarice's side for sure.
oh, I was like, yeah, you're not gonna win because obviously he's gonna get it. I knew that, but I was like, this is for sure what Clarice would do. I mean, she does like Annabeth, like
But she says Annabeth would understand.
yes, exactly. So yeah, Clarice is obviously right here. But even Grover is a little bit like Clarice, like he kind of is hoping for her to give in. But whatever, it doesn't matter because in the end, Percy grabs it out of her hands because she wasn't holding tight enough and shoves it through to Luke. And Luke does put it on Annabeth. He also picks up Annabeth's knife and like they make a point to show him picking up her knife and putting it in
I
his.
know. And I'm like, you're gonna take a little dagger, but not the invisibility cap? Are you dumb?
Oh, that's right.
Whatever.
I mean,
I
he
get
should.
that Blade's very important, as us the readers know, but whatever.
Only us, the readers, though. Like, are they ever gonna? It's literally in the prophecy: "Curse blade shall reap."
I don't know, man.
You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna no. Okay, I don't want to talk about that. I think they're gonna not use her dagger. It's have nothing to do with it, and they're gonna use his blade.
That makes so much more sense.
It
How is
does.
Blade cursed? It never
It
made
does.
any sense to me.
It does. Well, it's supposed to be cursed because he promised her family and broke the promise, and so it cursed.
That's not how curses work, bro.
Yeah. No, I mean, truly, that they probably looked at it and said this would make more sense, and that's probably right.
Yeah.
So we don't have this scenario of her getting that knife from him. Anyways, okay, so he picks up her knife, picks up her, and they leave.
Yes. And then, this heartbreaking moment. Well, first of all, Clarice is right. She has all the right to say what she's saying.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. I mean, for what they know, it's true. Which is that you have killed us. You have killed Camp. You have ruined everything. I hope you're proud of yourself. Good job, hero.
Yep.
But Percy's so devastated, but also,
Oh my gosh.
like, doesn't look like he actually regrets it. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't
I'm
think he
devastated
knows
that
what to
this is
think.
what happened, but I would do it the exact same way the next time, you
He
know?
would. Yeah.
He knows. I think this is him being like, oh God, my fatal flaw. Like,
I know. He's like, this is exactly why I didn't want to go on this quest. Yeah. Tyson comes in though at this point, right?
yes, Tyson
Thank
is
goodness.
back.
Yeah.
And he says that Polly won't be he says that Polly won't be bothering anyone anymore. So I'm like, I guess he's dead. Also, I don't know, maybe next episode he'll come back for like a second and throw rocks at them or something because falling off the cliff didn't kill him in the book. Maybe it won't kill him.
Oh, I don't think that falling off the cliff killed them. I think that Tyson did something after they fell because
I know, but maybe just
unless he fell on some like really sharp rock and it impaled him and Tyson was on top so he didn't get impaled. I don't know. It's possible. I love the big hug. We didn't talk about the big hug. We didn't talk about
hug is so much better than Grover and Percy's hug, which is fine. I'm not saying it's not big of a deal, but I was like, this hug like, got me so
I felt
hard.
it. I mean, I
Like, oh my
felt it.
God. And Tyson says, like, I'm sorry I could have gone after Annabeth, but you were here in the cave. And Percy's not mad at all. Percy's just like so happy to see him. And this is this thing where I'm like, okay, yes, a fatal flaw. Yes, it's a fatal flaw, but him choosing everyone else over himself, Percy, all the time, is gonna make everyone like owe him. Not owe him, but like it's gonna come back around. Like I get it's a fatal flaw and I get that this was all a terrible decision that he just made. But it comes back around when you have so many people like basically who owe their life to you. They're gonna come and help you.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's hard to think with it other ways. But see, I don't know. I don't want to put logic into it.
So this was adorable. And then Clarice is like, well, which way did they go? And they point, which Tyson points which way. And they go over and they see Luke taking off in the ship. And Clarice is like, great, like now what do we do? Even if Polyphemus is dead, we're trapped on this mother truckin' island. Um, and then Percy's like, well, we just got to get them back. And she's like, well, how are we gonna do this? She's so mad at him, which is so fair. She's
So fair.
mad at him.
We're all a little mad at him.
Yeah.
I was just mad, not really. What's that?
But it's so cute.
Yeah, it is. It is. The intensity of how he feels from Annabeth is amazing in this whole set of scenes. Amazing. And you can feel it. You can feel the panic clawing out of him.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah.
Then Tyson holds out the little bracelet again.
Uh-huh.
And all the hippocampi show up, 4 of them.
Yeah.
And I mean Grover's amazed because, nature spirits and he's super into it. And then Percy's like, we're gonna get them back.
And then they stand there for several seconds.
Yeah, for a perfect
They just
shot.
stand there for that perfect epic shot while I'm thinking, will you guys hurry the truck up?
Like the boat's getting away.
What is going on here, people? But we had to get that shot. And so we did. And then it ends. Dun dun dun.
That's it. That is the end of this episode.
Okay, what is going to happen, Brianna?
I don't know, but we get these little end scenes where we have Luke and Annabeth talking and Annabeth saying, I think the fleece could bring Thalia back. I've had a dream.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. We have Clarice being super cool.
Yeah, I love that little shot of her saying like, oh, there's so many of you guys. Okay, cool. Finally a challenge. I love that. I was like, oh, you go, girl. I am loving Clarice way more than I should.
Oh, I love her so much. And I can't even be mad about it.
I can't either. I can't either because she's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kronos gets the fleece on him, which does not happen in the book. He actually gets to use it for how long, I don't know, but he's using it, so interesting. And then we see Blackjack flying in the ship. And we see Percy has the fleece and he's running.
He is. Probably to jump onto Blackjack. So this was my thought on this. At first I was like, oh my gosh, they ruined everything. How is this gonna work? And then I realized, okay, so in the books, they go to Miami with the fleece, and then they have this whole conversation and they send Clarice off to fly home alone. And then Luke finds them and they're like, haha, we don't have the fleece. And he brings them into Princess Andromeda, okay? So we're just going to skip that whole scene because guess where? Percy's going to go to Princess Andromeda.
Yeah.
With the... No, they don't have the fleece. So Clarice is going to come too because she's like, I'm on a quest to get the fleece. And Grover's coming because he's Grover. So they're all going... And Tyson. So they're all going to Princess Andromeda.
And then the party ponies will show up.
And that better happen.
I'm hoping.
So, but my point is that all we're really doing is we're skipping the whole stop at Miami and sending Clarice home. So that means we get Clarice longer. And the intensity of not just getting kidnapped on Miami Beach to have a fight and get out of there, but to actually have to save Annabeth and save the fleece, which I'm surprised to see Percy running with the fleece. He should be running with Annabeth, and Clarice should be running with the fleece.
I'm like, where's Annabeth?
Yeah.
Where's Annabeth?
I'm sure we'll figure that out. So this kind of just skips that whole first part of the next chapter, which is okay. The Miami party. Yeah. And so preferably we get the party ponies. We have seen a flash of them, so there's no reason not to. And this should be where Chiron comes in. Now, the only thing that's not going to happen in these next few episodes that's in the book is that in the book, he starts a rainbow call to Mr. D so that Luke can do the whole monologue evil stuff so that Mr. D can see, oh, it wasn't Chiron in the first place, and so then Chiron can come back. We don't have that, so I don't know how they're getting Chiron back, because that wasn't the point in the first place.
I think if once the tree's healed, he'll just be allowed to come back.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyways, but once I thought about what that actually changes in the next few chapters, I was like, okay, it actually adds more excitement to it. So I've decided I'm okay.
They shouldn't change too much, but
I'm okay with everything except for Luke portaling into the
interviews.
What's that?
I'm just scared about what the interviews say.
Yeah, about the last episode. Yeah, I just realized that I'm not actually, everything else and how this ended is all okay. It's just the portaling into the island that is so wrong. Yeah.
Oh God. But fine, it adds this new element. It's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Oh my gosh, I hope so. But I'm just terrified now from whatever Walker said. I'm like, what are they gonna change? What are they gonna make different? You know what I mean? So we don't, unfortunately, have any new reviews. We would love a review. Even if you don't use Apple Podcast, you can still go on Apple Podcast, find our podcast, and review it there. We would love that. We could read it here before we are done with our episodes.
Definitely. We also have socials, which is Camp Comparisons Podcast on Facebook and Instagram and Threads. So you can find us there. Tell us your thoughts. If you have long thoughts, like an essay's worth, or fan art, I don't know, you can email us at campcomparisons at an email that will be in the description of this episode. I think it's campcomparisons@gmail.com. So find us there.
Yes, it is. Okay, good.
Yeah. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, we will be. Oh my gosh, so excited.
So
okay.
Until next time.
See you at camp.
Bye.
Bye.